Let's talk about the uncomfortable stuff. Sexual harm in relation to children. Hi, I'm Monica from Let's Talk Counselling, and welcome to the podcast. Today we're here to talk about sexual harm in relation to children, and we focus on what's real, what's true, what are the myths, and what we can do about it. Today I'd like to talk about some really good rules that we can have when we're thinking about this difficult and uncomfortable topic. So the first rule that I'd like you to think about is particularly for those people who have experienced sexual harm in their childhood. And I know that can be really awful and sad. I know that can be a difficult topic and it can be really confronting. But the first rule is let's be kind. I'd like you to think about being kind to yourself. So if you get triggered or upset, think about what you need to do. Maybe that involves getting professional help, or maybe it just involves a little bit of self-care, like taking a lovely long bath, or going for a walk, or even something quicker, just taking a lovely long deep breath. So that's rule number 1. Be kind to yourself. The next rule I'd like to introduce is particularly for those people where sexual harm in relation to children has occurred in their families. So that might mean that it's happened to one of your children or somewhere in your extended family. And that rule is be kind. That's an interesting thought. One of the things that I do is I facilitate a women's support group for either mothers or partners of people who have actually harmed sexually. And one of the things we often talk about is that it's almost like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, in relation to staying with their husband or partner or son, or how they actually deal with this issue. So if you know of someone that's going through this journey, as much as it's emotional and as much as you want to get angry or you might have some pretty strong thoughts, I'd like you to remember that golden rule of be kind. Just be there for them. They're probably feeling really overwhelmed. They're not sure which way to turn. They're not sure what they're going to do, and that's okay. But to have someone that's in their circle that's prepared to just be kind and be there for them and let them work their way through this can be absolute gold and such an important thing for someone going through their journey. Sometimes when this happens, a lot of people do have really strong thoughts, and so they end up telling a person what they have to do, or they get angry or upset if someone is behaving in a way that they don't think is right. But that's not always the best thing to do. Often just being kind, reaching out, hey, I'm here for you, I'm happy to be someone to talk to, can make a massive difference. So I'd like you to think of that rule. The next rule I'd like you to think about actually relates to someone who has harmed sexually against a child. Seriously confronting, I know, but I want you to think about being kind to them. Now hang on, before you all start screaming and jumping up and down and getting really, really angry about this. Being kind does not mean condoning what they've done. Being kind to someone does not mean that what they've done is okay, or that in any way you accept or think it's all right that they have harmed a child. They're actually two completely different things. You can support someone while not condoning what they have done. So that's kind of like separating the behavior from the person in a way. So I really don't approve of what you've done. What you've done is wrong. but I want to support you to do something about it. Whether that means going to your doctor, going to professional help, and actually learning to address the underlying issues why someone harmed in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that anyone that has harmed sexually against a child should avoid the justice system. If people want to go to police and report them and go through the court process and even have that person incarcerated, that's okay. If they go to jail, that's okay. Justice does need to be done. But let's not kid ourselves that that is fixing the problem. So if someone has harmed sexually and they go through the justice system and maybe they do go to jail, what happens when they get out? In my experience, while they're in jail, they're still not having an opportunity to deal with the underlying issues that cause the offending in the first place. So if we can be kind and support them as they seek help, as they address the underlying issues, that can make a massive difference. Just getting angry, while it's really understandable, doesn't actually help. Calling them monsters, demonizing people, also really doesn't help. It doesn't encourage anybody to actually get help and address those underlying issues. If anything, it just makes people feel more ashamed and buries the topic even deeper. It's interesting because a lot of children, when they disclose sexual abuse, they're often left with this dilemma, like I kind of liked the person that offended against me, but I really did not like what they did. And particularly if it's a blood relative, like an older sibling or a dad or grandfather, if we're calling that person a monster or a horrible human being, the child might often think, well, I'm a child of that monster. So therefore, am I a little bit of a monster too? And of course, we'd know that that wouldn't be a helpful train of thought. It's so much healthier for a child to know that the adult in their life has taken responsibility for their actions and that they're actively doing something about it. And the more we can support someone to actively do something about it and make sure that they will never offend again, the better. I know it can be really, really hard when all you want to do is yell and scream. But if you can hold that, take a breath, think about the long-term view and go, what do I really want? I want children to be safe. So how about we support this person in getting the help and the treatment that they need? Like I said before, that does not mean that you're condoning what that person has done. Now, I've got one more rule for you, and it's a direct request from me. And you guessed it. I'd like you to be kind to me. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's not easy to create a podcast where we're talking about really, really uncomfortable stuff. And I know that people will have really strong opinions, and that a lot of opinions might actually be quite different to mine. I have no problem at all with people sharing their thoughts or opinions, even if they are different to mine. But what I really don't want is for people to let rip. What will not be tolerated are messages full of hate or abuse. It's okay to have strong feelings about this topic, but I really request that you be kind when you share your opinions and thoughts. Like I said, I'm open to hearing different opinions and thoughts, and I would love to hear about what you want to hear about. What are the issues that you would like to have addressed? My aim is to interview some women to talk about their experiences, interview some guys who actually have harmed, as well as talk to a whole lot of practitioners that work in this space. And I know that if some of the issues that we're raising can be uncomfortable, but I just really want to encourage you to take a breath, Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, including those who have harmed, without condoning what they've done, and also to be kind to me. So that's about it for today. If you do want to get some more information, I can encourage you to go to different websites such as safecare.org.au, my website, letstalkcounselling.com.au, or even Stop It Now, which is available in the UK, the US, and also Australia. So thank you for your company today, and be willing to listen and hold some of that judgment. And remember, be kind to yourself and others. Talk to you soon. Bye.